Welcome everyone to In the Vapor, season 2. I brought the show back. It was driving me crazy that I didn't have my own show. I got a double here. Let me make sure I shut this. I had listened to myself twice. Yeah, I had to bring the show back. I love doing these one-on-ones. Love doing the Wednesday Night Live show, but this is the fun part for me is getting to talk to people and trying to find out a little bit more about them outside of advocacy and vaping, and just getting to know them and putting a face to the names. And I think it's really important that people out there can see that we are not all, I hate saying this, Michelle, but we're not all 20. We're not all wearing skinny jeans. We don't have our hair up in a bun. And we're not all vaping jewels, correct?
And we're not all bots either. We are real people.
Yes, and we're not bots. Yes, I forgot that one. We're not bots.
I am real.
I'm real. Let me pinch you. There you go. You couldn't see that. Yeah, we're having the same technical issues with Michelle. I can see her, but she can't see me. So, but you can see chat. So I see that Mallory's already in there. Hello, Mallory. Welcome to the show. Michelle. Let me see. What do I got written down here for Michelle? Michelle, what does Michelle do? Michelle is the full-time editor at e-cig Click. I always have such a hard time with that one, Michelle. It's just one of those tongue twisters where she covers such topics as THR, tobacco harm reduction, vape advocacy news, vape product reviews. Michelle's also a trustee at the NNA. That is the Nicotine Alliance. You can find all of Michelle's links to everything that she is associated with in the header, and I also will put them in the chat from time to time. But this show's not about advocacy. This is our show about finding out a little bit more about Michelle and her quirks, her pet peeves, her likes and dislikes, and what else she does other than constantly fighting for advocacy and vaping and THR. So sit back, relax. I see Jamie's out there. I think, yes. I have a hard time. The screen is far away. I'm in the studio and the screen is like way on the other side. So I'll have a hard time seeing names in the chat. I don't have Tim, Michelle. I don't have Tim to help me out in the chat. But I am so glad that you are willing to do this, and you are my first guest for season 2. Yay! So we're gonna have some fun with Michelle. I already know the first question I asked Michelle before, and I'm very happy that she does not like pineapple on pizza.
I'm allergic to pineapple.
Jamie, I'll try to type bigger. You could use the largest font available. I still wouldn't see it. The screen is about 7 feet away from me. So I will do my best to see the screen. So before we get started, I wanted to ask you your first question. Are you ready for your first question?
Hit me with it.
Yeah, I'm going to hit you with that fun one first. If you had to choose from one of these famous UK chefs to cook you dinner, which one would you pick and why, and what dish would you have them cook for you? And your 2 chefs are Gordon Ramsay or Jamie Oliver.
It'd be Gordon Ramsay.
It'd be Gordon.
Nobody really likes Jamie Oliver in the UK. Many years ago, he started a campaign to stop the schools eating junk food. And there was a lot of people of a bit younger generation than me that hate him for that. He took away the turkey Twizzlers, which were like processed turkey, and stopped the kids having them for their school dinners. And he was very unpopular for that, and now most of the UK just sees him as a bit smug.
Yeah, we love him here. That's the thing.
Jamie.
That's why. Yeah, that's why I when I was like, okay, I got to find 2 famous UK chefs, and there are a lot of them, but the 2 popular ones are, Gordon Ramsay and Jamie Oliver. And I said, okay, she's got to like one of those guys, So what is Gordon Ramsay going to cook you?
Oh, blimey. Well, I've not long turned vegetarian.
Oh.
So I quite like Chinese or Indian food. So some sort of curry would suit me nicely with some nice naan breads, some chips, some rice. Oh, I'm hungry now thinking about it.
I think Gordon would throw out about 1,000 f-bombs at you when you said I'm a vegetarian. He'd be like, "What the fuck am I gonna cook you, Michelle?"
And people say to me, they say, "Oh, well, vegetarian food's got no flavour," and I point out that
Yeah,
most desserts, I would say 95% of desserts, are vegetarian.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
only ones with like suet in it that have got animal products. So everybody loves dessert, so I can't see the problem.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, even it's not like it was 20 something years ago, where if you walked into a restaurant and said you were a vegetarian, he would just tell you to go find another restaurant. But
Yeah.
now, pretty much any restaurant you go into, they have a pretty good selection of vegetarian food that they're easily available to you. So that's clear. I thought for sure you were going to go with Oliver. I did. I thought, he's just such a big hit here with everyone,
That's
and
surprising me. That really surprises me because he's very smug and, like I said, he's quite unpopular in the UK now.
does he? I don't know that much about him, but does he have some restaurants in the UK?
Yeah, I think some have
He
failed.
does.
I
Yeah.
remember there was a case, was it over COVID? And he sacked all his staff, so that made him look bad. Um, there was a few occasions where there's been sort of maltreatment of staff. Not that's just me remembering. So yeah,
So
he's not very well liked at all anymore.
wow, yeah, I was surprised by that. Question number two for you. We're all aware of your passion and dedication to THR and vaping in the vaping community, but what are some other things that you're interested in your community, clubs, organizations, or that you are involved in?
I'm very big on animal rescue. Sadly, I've had a very traumatic sort of 5 or 6 years with my mum and my dad dying and both being very ill. But prior to that, I used to help out a local dog rescue, Hillbray in Telford, giving them a shout out. Um, and I used to run their social media for them, share. I go up there and take
Nice.
photos of all the dogs, and so I get them online. And I shared that with a few other people. So I used to go up there and just sit with some of the older dogs or the more frightened dogs and give them big cuddles. But obviously, with all that's been going on, I've sort of had to take a back seat. But I'd like to get involved with that again because I love my animal rescues and I love seeing their little happy faces when I like to go
Yeah.
and give them a fuss and make them smile because I believe that animals are better than people really. So
Yeah, I mean I love that. I it's really big here. They I like the fact that every now and then, like here, I don't know about some of the other ones, but in Stanislaus County, the pet adoption thing, it can get very expensive if you're going to come get a stray or pick one from the pound there. But like every now and then, some big donor comes around and pays all the fees. And
oh,
yeah, no one knows who it is. It's just some person once every couple months comes in and just pays what I don't know if it's a he or she, but comes in and says, "How many dogs do you have?" And then they just write a big fat check, and they open it up, and people come in and they'll clean up the whole kennel out.
I wish somebody would do that over here. I mean, they're overflowing at the moment. Have you heard about our ban? They're called XL bullies. They're similar to your pit bulls,
Yeah,
but they've
yeah,
been bred to be bigger, and they've just been banned in the UK. The kennels are full of them. They can't rehome them. And they might be end up being euthanized. It's a horrific situation. So I know all the rescues are struggling at the moment with that. But I've also fostered dogs as well at my house in the past. I mean, I've got a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, which is a smaller version of a pit bull,
yeah,
and she's
yeah,
the stupidest creature in the land, but the happiest. She's beautiful, and
yeah,
I've fostered a couple of dogs, and she got on with them beautifully. They'd cuddle up and go to sleep together, and she taught them how to be a dog again, and they went off
yeah.
to wonderful homes, and that was again very rewarding before all my life turned a bit upside down. So when my mind's sort of feeling a bit better because my mental health took a bit of a battering and I've had some PTSD. So when I'm a bit more even, I'd like to get back into that.
Yeah, I know. It's one of the things that well, my dad had dementia, and
Yeah.
when he was around cats and dogs, and they almost sense it that he's lost and confused, and they would just huddle up next to him, and it made him feel so good. And you know, I was getting close to actually getting one and bringing it into the home
Yeah.
and having him, have some companionship with an animal. But it was just too difficult. See, he had good days and he had bad days, So I didn't. But yeah, no, it's an amazing thing when that shelter here does that, and they'll post it on the webpage. All dogs, all fees paid, all shots paid for. Just come in and pick a dog, and I love it. I love it when they do stuff like that, and it's very
It's a good
awesome.
job they don't do that round here. I'd be there with a shopping trolley and a truck.
Yeah.
I'd end
Yeah.
up bringing them all home.
Just load them up, load them up. I want that one, that one, that one, and
Yeah.
that one.
In you
Yeah,
get, in the car. Good man. I walked one little old girl dog. She was very much like my dog. She was an old girl, and I had to pop to my car to get something, and she just jumped in my car, sat straight on the seat, and it broke my heart. I thought, oh, I wish I could take you home.
yeah,
She
yeah.
didn't
No,
like other dogs, so
it's great. It's great. I didn't grow up with any pets. That was the thing. My dad had pets, but he lived on a farm in Sicily. But when he moved here, we just weren't allowed to have dogs. We weren't allowed to have dogs or cats. He just said no. There was no
my
debating
sister
it.
my sister was allergic to them, so we didn't as children. Like, but I've had cats for years,
Yeah,
and this is my first dog, and I absolutely adore her.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
10,
No,
she's nearly 11 now, and she's just had some tumours removed, so that's been a bit stressful, but she's happy as anything.
yeah. Oh no, the first dog I had when the kids were old enough, I didn't pick or nothing. I came home and there was a dog home, and that was it. Mom, Dad, we found this dog at the park. The guy was giving them away for free. I'm like, what made why? Who told you to take the dog home? Yeah, we had that dog for a long time. He was a good dog. Uh,
Oh,
yeah. Tell us a little bit about your hometown. I'm going to try real hard here. Telford,
Telford, yeah, Telford.
Shropshire, right?
Shropshire, yeah.
Yeah, Shropshire. And when us Yanks, I had to add the word Yanks in there because that's what we are, right? The Yanks come to visit your town. What pub are we going to and why?
Well, the first thing I realised when I was getting dressed today, I put this top on. Right, let me see if I can show you.
Oh, you got it on,
So it says
Brooklyn?
Brooklyn. There we go.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, New York. And I was
Yeah.
thinking to myself, do people in America wear Telford or Shropshire on their shirts? I'd love to see one. But yeah, so Telford, I was born here, and it's classed as the birthplace of industry. That's why we're famous.
Yeah.
So I live about 10 minutes away from a place called Ironbridge, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And it's credited because it was one of the founders of the Industrial Revolution.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
the area we have is very rich underground. So we've got coal, limestone, iron ore, we've got all sorts. So there was a lot of industrialists moved to this area because obviously everything they needed was under the ground.
Yeah.
Um, and one of the families that were here, Abraham Darby, he discovered a new way of making iron, which didn't use charcoal and burning up trees. They actually used coal, which we had tons of.
Tons of, yeah.
Yeah. So his grandson, Abraham Darby III, they built a bridge out of iron, which was the first that had ever been done because they could produce it in such large quantities, for next to nothing. So 10
Yeah.
minutes away from my house is a place called Ironbridge with the bridge made of iron.
Nice, nice. The UK, Ireland, Spain. I've been to Italy. I've been to Germany. I haven't been to Paris, but I want to go to the UK so bad, and I love history, and
Yeah, oh, there's plenty of it.
yeah, I mean, you can walk down any street and there's something engraved in the stone, like this person was here, this happened here. People are like, oh, America, America. I mean, America is 1776 is 200 and some odd years old, compared to the UK that's been around a much, much longer time, and it's just so much history, so much to see. And I'm not one of those people that would be running over to see the Queen's Palace, or I want to see castles. I want to see old pubs. I want to see old factories, and it's just amazing what you have every day. And I know you're probably, the people there probably just kind of, yeah, it's right over there, or yeah, that's there. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
you're so used to it. It's like, well, where do you want to go? When, like, people, like, I live 2 hours from San Francisco, so when people come here, they want to go to San Francisco, and it's just like, to me, I'm like, oh God, San Francisco.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't want to go. Come on, you want to go somewhere else? It's like, I could show you the rivers, the lakes. No, no, I want to go to San Francisco. Anything else that your town is famous for other than that?
Well, I mean, if you ever come to the UK and you come over this way, I'll take you to a place called Blist's Hill, because Telford was a town that was made out of old mining tips,
Oh
and they
wow.
created a town. So everything they knocked down, they made into a museum. So it's like a real life street in a museum. You've got old mines, you've got old blast furnaces,
Yeah,
you've got old manufacturing. There's things like tiles. You've got old schools, you've got old
yeah,
churches, and it's
yeah,
all Victorian. You've got an old pub. You can go and change your money at the bank there,
yeah,
and you love it. I mean, you are proper back in the day. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
in contrast to some of the big the big fancy buildings we've got now as well. It's nice to be able to have that, because I love the industrial history. I do mining,
Right, right.
ironwork. I love all that. I'm fascinated by it.
I'm kind of curious with some of the new buildings that are being, because this is something that, like, some of the older cities in the United States that are not welcoming, like, a lot of newer buildings being put up around some of the older things. Is the architecture kind of fitting the area, or is it just all gaudy?
It's clashes everywhere. You can see a 17th century church right next to a modern glass, steel, aluminium
Yeah.
building. It's full of clashes. And I mean, in the last year alone, I think we've had 3,000 houses built. They're building thousands of houses every year, so we're losing a lot of the greenery, we're losing a lot of our parks and the
Yeah.
places where I like to walk the dog, and that's very sad. I like it just how it is, but they're inviting more people in. The traffic's getting worse. You can't get in the doctors.
Yeah, yeah. No,
So
that's the
it's
tough
got a
part.
bit too crazy now.
And for you, it's even more difficult because you're born and raised there. So you're not an outsider that, maybe has been there for 10, 15 years. You've grown up seeing it develop right in front of you. Yeah, it makes it more
Yeah.
difficult. It does make it more difficult. It's like, hey, I used to ride my bike here, and now there's, a 38-story glass building there. It's insane. I know the feeling. I know the
My
feeling.
senior school had a massive field. That's been flattened, and I think I don't know. There's hundreds of houses on there now.
Oh wow, yeah. See, I went through that a couple years ago. Modesto, the city that I live here in California, it really has had a big boom the last 20 years. There are 7 high schools here for a city of 250,000 people. So it's nonsense. And some of the new high schools look like college campuses. And they decided a couple years back that they were going to close one of the older schools. And they picked my school, and I was mad. I was mad. I was like, you know what? No. You're going to, out of the 4 original high schools that are in this city, you're going to close the newest one out of the 4.
Doesn't make
I was like,
any sense.
it makes no sense. You're going to keep the one that has no air conditioning, no windows, no nothing, that's been around since 1950 something. There's the little pup. I can see
Where
the
is
pup.
she? Squirty.
She says, "Who's that yank?"
I think we ought to get her on video. Come on, Elizabeth, say hello, you little happy girl.
Oh,
What you do, just in case anybody's wondering what all the panting and snuffling is, it isn't me.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
I
You're
want a
going to say
dog
hello?
treat. I want a treat.
But she's basically a
Uh,
smaller pit bull, is she?
yeah, yeah.
She's on her face now, weirdo.
Yeah, she knows she's on camera. That's why she's like, I don't want to be on camera. Those Americans don't need to see me.
The cat, I've got a cat as well, and he always freezes up whenever I put the camera on him.
Of course, of course. My next question for you: the importance and benefit of women representation in our community and industry is important. With International Women's Day being last week, can you share one or two that have given you the strength and motivation to push forward with your goals in life?
I know when I first come on the vaping scene, I mean, I got involved sort of 2016, 2017, and I'd go to vape expos and I'd see adverts and it was all nearly naked women, you know, hardly any clothes on. And it felt a bit intimidating from a woman's point of view.
Yeah,
Uh, but thankfully, you know, things have moved on a lot. And as you said, I'm a trustee for the NNA, and that is run by a very strong woman indeed, Louise
yes,
Ross, who
yes,
I admire massively. She knows her stuff. She's not only involved in, you know, this vaping association, she's also involved with public health, the stop smoking services. She's extremely inspirational, and there's a lot
nice.
of women. There's a lot of women on the board of trustees. We've got we've got Sarah, Jess, and Mary, and I learn so much from all of them. You know,
Yeah,
they all teach
yeah.
me stuff.
Yeah, I always we always talk about more women representation in the vaping industry, and the last 5 years there's been a huge boom, and because back in 2012, 2018, I think there was just one woman that actually owned a vape hardware company, and I can't remember it was McMods, and it was out here in the U.S. And then things started to change. Now, I actually think the CEO or owner of the guys that do the Dead Rabbit, I forget their name now, right now.
Hell
That's
vape.
Hell Vape is run by a female a woman. Yeah, she's I think she's the CEO or the president or owner of Hell Vape, and it's just good. I think there's such a lack of that of women in that in our industry in the community, and I think another thing is a lot of very little minorities and people of color. I don't understand it. I really don't understand why there's so few people of color advocating or being part of the industry or the community. Even owning a vape shop, it's very seldom you see anyone of color own a vape shop or anywhere in part. I can't even tell you. If you were to scan even the Washington rally, you would see maybe one or two, one or two. I just don't get it. I don't get that part of it.
Racially, I mean, it's very widespread in the UK. It crosses
Yeah,
all boundaries in that way. And I've got to say, you know, the from the male-female perspective, we're evening up. You know, it's not uncomfortable to be a woman vapor anymore like it used to be. And I mean, even all the adverts used to be a woman with next to nothing on or close up of her lips. And you could tell she'd never even filled up her vape, you know, it never had been out the packet before. And
yep,
I want to know what flavour it is. I want to know, you know, the specs of the vape. I don't want to see some woman's chest. I know it's a bit
yeah,
different for you guys, but
yeah. Yeah, no, it's just nice to see, and I think it helps. It helps with the advocacy, and I think it helps when people outside of our inner circle see more females being involved in it because you're more. I hate saying it, but more caring and loving. So when they see a female, they like, okay, she's not just going to be doing this just because some man is telling her to do it. She's doing it because she has some passion and she cares about health and harm reduction. So I think we need to have more females in higher levels of advocacy and in the industry as far as e-liquid companies and hardware companies. So I hopefully that comes to fruition. I guess I don't. Tim's not here to help me with my big words, Michelle.
But I mean, it's getting a lot more even in the UK. I mean, I've got equal numbers of male and female friends who all vape.
Yeah.
There's no such, it used to be that you had to be a beardy guy, to vape. And I
Yeah.
haven't got a beard yet. Well, I've got a bit of a moustache, but I'm not that beardy. So I love the
I,
fact it's evened out, all social classes, religions, races, it's all spread quite equally spread now.
yeah. Yeah, and Janine, same with the company that Allison works for in North Carolina. I think it's North Carolina or South Carolina. She owns like 11 or 14 vape shops, and with her husband, and she started them out of she had a hair salon, and she started selling a few devices here and there in the salon, and realized, hey, I can help more people if I have a shop, and closed this hair salon down and opened 14 stores. No, it's
Oh,
insane.
is that where Alison used to work?
Yeah, Allison's not working there any longer. She's now involved in some other things
When
that
she was, I
occupy.
think she worked in, was it a sunbed shop or something that she worked in?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
right.
remember her telling me,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I can't remember the name exact. I'm sorry, Allison.
And
If
hello,
you're in,
Alison.
if you're in chat, write it in there, Allison, because I can't remember it. What is your favorite way to spend a day off, Michelle?
Oh, I love me sleep. I love a good sleep. That if I could win medals for sleeping, that is the thing I can do the best. I can go 12 hours, 16 hours. And
Just sleep.
oh, I'm so good at sleeping. And I know it sounds like I'm bragging, but I really am.
Yeah.
Too good sometimes. But I like chilling out. I like to go for a nice dog walk. I like watching telly. I'm currently watching Formula One Drive to Survive on Netflix.
Oh wow, yeah, yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, that's one of my favourites. That is because I'm quite into Formula One. So yeah, just pottering really. I'm quite a homebody nowadays. I'm not really going out much. I like going for like meals with the family, but I
Yeah,
don't really drink. I rarely drink, to be
yeah,
honest. So
yeah.
yeah, I am nearly 50 though. I can take it a bit easier now.
Yeah, I went back to work night shift, so my body's all kind of screwed up,
Mm.
and I've been trying to get used to it. And it's like I'm off at 5 in the morning, so I work
Ugh.
9 p.m. to 5 in the morning. So and my house is 20 minutes from work, so I am hauling ass, Michelle, down the freeway because I want to beat the sun, because I know what happens if my eyes see the sun. I'm done for another two or
Yeah,
3 hours. So, and then the other day I got home at 5:30, and I slept from 5:30 to 3:20. Yeah, 3:20. And I had my alarm set for 1 because I had to do the vape show. So my daughter, thank God for thank you, sweetheart. She calls me and I answered the phone, and she's like, "What are you doing, Dad?" I go, "Just laying in bed waiting for my alarm to go off." And she goes, "What time's your alarm set for?" I go, 1:20. She goes, "Dad, it's 3:20." I'm like, "Oh shit." Thank you. I gotta go. I love you.
that's an amateur level of sleep. You need to be doing a 16-hour stint like me.
Yeah. I need that. I need that. Let me see here. I have some other. What would be your perfect day? What would be your perfect day? Don't say bed, Michelle.
Spending time with people I love, spending
Yeah,
time around animals, generally just taking it easy as well. I like going out for meals with the family. We get quite a few of us, we'll get 20 or 30 of us, and we'll all meet up and go for a nice meal. And then, it's never quiet. There's conversations flying everywhere, and I
yeah.
love all that. I've got a little niece who's 6, and I see her every week, and she's another of my loves of my life. So she always makes me laugh, and she's got an absolute heart of gold. So I
I
love
think
spending time with her.
I think you're correct. I think you are correct. I think it is Me Pod. It's where she's working. All right, you
Ah,
ready? This one's my fun question. What is Michelle's favorite cuss word?
ooh, can I say
Ooh,
it though? Am I
you
allowed to
can.
say it?
Yep, you're allowed to say it. Hey,
I
we
quite
have
like
people.
bollocks. Bollocks is quite sort of multifunctional, isn't it?
Yeah, bollocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's as soft as I thought you were gonna go. I didn't. We've had, yeah. You can cut. I mean, we've had people from Australia use the C word, which is their favorite
Yeah, it's quite popular
word.
there, isn't it? I'm not keen on that one. I mean, I'm prone to a good fuck
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that's another
yeah,
multi-purpose word,
yeah.
and shit,
Yeah,
shit.
that's the first one we all learn is the F one, and then our moms are like, "Don't say that, don't say that." Uh, if you let's see, where's my other questions? I have so many, and we have so many. Any, I'm doing my best. It's just trying to get back into a rhythm with this show, and I'm glad it's you because I enjoy speaking with you.
Oh,
Let's
bless
see,
you.
yeah.
I'm a bit
Uh,
dull, I'm afraid, but
no, no. That well, this is what the whole show's about. I want people to see, like I said, we're not 20, we're not 25, we're not running around with skinny jeans on, our hair's in a bun. We're adults. We're adults, and we should have choices. And when you start taking choices away from people, that's when we get upset. And we're not bots, right, Michelle? I'm not a bot.
and the thing is as well, I mean, I don't know if you've heard that they're trying to tax vaping in the UK. They've just banned disposables.
Yeah,
They're threatening flavours. So, it's nice for them to see that I'm 48 years old and I vape bubble gum, whereas it
yeah. Oh,
on
oh, God forbid, bubblegum.
you know, how dare you? I should be only vaping that until I'm 10 or something.
Yeah. If you could time travel, when and where would you go, Michelle?
Ooh, what would I like to be around? I've got to say, I don't think I would. I think, life is so much easier now. I think back to my dad was born in the 1930s, and things like if my dad was poorly, they had to sell something to pay for a doctor or,
Yeah,
and I think in that sense, I'd like to go back a bit and spend more time with my parents.
yeah,
But no, I think, all the technology we've got, if we're sick, there's plenty of options to get us better, to get our loved ones better. And I think technology wise and scientifically, we're in, the best period we could be.
yeah. I like the way you worded that because yeah, you start to think, well, do I really want to go back in time, and what am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to change anything because that will just screw everything up.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
If
and
I
you
get
live
sick, somebody's just gonna put some leeches on me
leeches.
or some wee or some urine or something and say that'll make you better and then I die a week later.
Yeah, yeah, like we've people like if I had an opportunity, I think for myself it would be like early '60s. I
Yeah.
think that time was just to me it just '60s America just seems to be so elegant. Men were dressed in suits and ties and hats, and women were dressed nice. People went out to dinner dressed nice. They walked around downtown dressed nice. You didn't see people straggling around and ripped jeans and everybody
Pajamas.
yeah, pajamas exactly at Walmart. It's like, all right, you're telling me you couldn't just put on a pair of pants? You couldn't put on a pair of pants to go to Walmart.
My dad
What?
was a teddy boy. My dad was a teddy boy at one point, but my mum, I used to ask her about the 60s, and she said it didn't really affect them. She said we never really saw any benefit, when you're sort of a teenager in that time in
Yeah.
England, unless you were in one of the massive cities, it wasn't really a much of a change.
I see. That's this. You can't really. You can't. You're messing around with time there, Mallory. I mean, you gotta. You can see the chat, right, Michelle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice in theory, but like you say, would things pan out that way?
Yeah, and I mean, just think about some of the amazing people you met from that time till now. You might not have gotten that opportunity again because of some changes that you've made in your life. So, are you willing to do that? To give up some of the people and some of the things you got to do?
And
Uh,
lessons that you've learned, you've had to learn lessons, and that would have changed you as a person
yeah,
as well.
yeah. Yeah, I go and a lot of people, a lot of people go, well, I'd go back in time and tell my parents to invest in Microsoft. It's like, okay, So now your parents invested in Microsoft. You're probably going to be very rich and have lots of money. But how about all those things that happened from the time you went back to the time you are now that you're not going to get? You might not meet your wife. You might not have the kids that you had. You might not had a whole different life, but a
You
completely
might have
different.
grown up a spoiled brat. You might have grown up entitled.
Yeah, and rich people die fast.
Yeah, you could have bought some massive sports car and drove it off a ledge somewhere.
What was who your dream dinner party guest, dead or alive?
I don't know if you know of him. Bob Mortimer, his name is. He's a comedian in the UK. Vic and Bob. And he's just the most fascinating person. And the other one, you will know this one, is Jim Henson, the creator of the
Yeah,
Muppets.
right.
Because I just think he gave all these lumps of socks a personality. I've just got my niece into watching the Muppets. She loves the
Yeah.
Swedish Chef, bark, bark, bark. And we've been watching him, and she's in hysterics, and he gave all these just pieces of material. He gave them personalities, and they're fabulous. When you
uh,
think, it was before all CGI and things like that, and I can
right.
still
Yeah.
watch it and laugh my head off.
Well, you got to think how many people were back there moving all those Muppets around and doing all that
There'd
stuff.
be one
And
person doing the hands, one
yeah,
doing the legs, one doing the mouth.
yeah, and that's like my friend who when the writers and the actors went on strike, and one of the big problems that they were fighting over was AI, and these actors actually being replaced by themselves, but a younger version of themselves. And I'm glad that they stood up for that, because I think it's gotten to the point where a movie doesn't feel like a movie anymore. It feels more like a game on a PC, because everything is so AI and so CGI. It just doesn't look real to me anymore.
It's
So
the same with kids programs. I mean, you look some of the older kids
cinema,
programs. You'd actually have, you'd have stop motion animation like Aardman. You'd have fluffy puppets and things. Whereas
yeah.
if they're all just CGI, they all start looking the same, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, it's insane. So I'm glad that they stood up for that and fought to get rid of that. And I can understand even the writers' perspective, where they were afraid that AI was just going to take their jobs away, and AI would just start writing all the sitcoms and start
Yeah.
writing all the movies, and yeah, we don't need
How
you.
funny are computers? They're not really funny, are they?
Nah, nah. You need that human element. I
Yeah.
think even when you're just writing a sitcom, you need that. A computer doesn't know. All right, here's the funny one. Were Ross and Rachel really on a break?
Yes.
You didn't know hesitation, so you're sticking
Yeah,
up
they
for
were. They
you're,
were. I
you're
think she was
sticking up for
whinging over
Ross.
nothing. She was whinging over nothing. Oh, and Janine's just mentioned Wallace and Gromit. They're the pinnacle, they are, of children's programs.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, okay. Let me see here. I got two more, and then we are finished. Do you wish you had more siblings? If so, why?
Yeah, I always wanted older because I was an only child till I was 8.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
I begged and begged my parents for a brother or
Go
sister.
to the room. Go to the room and make me a sister.
Yeah, but then she turned up and she was a baby, and I didn't want a baby, and everybody
No.
fussed around her and ignored me. I wanted older brothers and sisters that were going to look after me and give me all their clothes and,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
take me on bike rides and things. So, yeah, I would have liked, and also with the hard times we've been through with mum and dad, I've got one younger sister. We both really struggled to, keep everything running. If we'd had a few more of us, hopefully it would have been a bit easier.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up with two brothers, an older brother and a little brother. I was a middle child, and I wish to this day still. I'm 55 years old, and I still wish I had a sister. I think
Oh,
I would have been a better person if I had a sister slapping me around, telling me, "No, don't do that. That's stupid." And plus, I would have got to date all her friends. So
there
yeah,
you go.
that's how guys think.
Yeah, the problem is though, she'd have probably dressed you up and cut your hair and put lipstick on you when you were a kid, though.
Yeah, see, but your brother, I bet you, Mallory, that your brother's happy that he had a little sister. So, and I wish I would have had either an older sister or a little sister, but instead I got a bully big brother and a baby little brother that is same as Michelle. I didn't want him. I didn't want him. It's like he's in the way. He's taking things from me,
Yeah.
man. he's taking. Uh, what can always bring your family together, Michelle?
Pardon?
What could always bring your family together?
I mean, we try and have meetups. We go for a meal. We book a big table for all of us, and that's lovely, you know. But um, obviously, tragedies always brought us together. You know, thankfully, they've had my back when things have been going wrong. So
Yeah. My mom, April this next month will be my mom's 1 year and 1 year gone from here, and it's tough trying to keep all the traditions, the Italian traditions going, Sunday dinner, and trying to keep the family together and everybody. It's tough. It's tough.
yeah,
And I'm glad I have a daughter because my daughter is 100% my mother, stubborn as hell. It's stubborn and just tells you, I like her brothers, and they're all big brothers to her because she's the little one. She just keeps them in check. She's
she's a
like,
boss,
it's like, thank you because they listen to her and they don't listen to me.
and she's parenting you now.
Yeah, she is. Well, yeah, all right. This is the first time in my life that I have to pick curtains out. And I'm divorced, so I'm in this house, and I'm like, I want to start to change it a little bit and get a little bit. So I was at Walmart, right, and I'm looking at curtains, and I'm like, I have no clue. I have no clue. So I'm
Yeah, what
taking
size
pictures.
are they? What's a plate top and what's a tap top? And
So I'm taking pictures of curtains and sending to her. What do you think? Oh no, Dad, those are ugly. Don't get those. Get something brown. That color doesn't match the color on the wall, Dad. What's wrong with you, Dad? And I'm like,
they're like the 1970s. What the hell?
yeah. Last one. What is the hardest challenge you have overcome?
The loss of my parents. I'm sorry, I keep going back to this, but it's
No,
still
no.
quite raw.
Yeah,
All my life I dreaded it.
yeah,
And the story was that in 2017, my mum, they found her lung cancer. So she
yeah,
went in for an operation to remove some of her lung. She did
yeah.
really well, ready to go home. And then she had a blood clot in her leg, which there's been
Oh yeah,
several hospital errors. And to cut a long story short, she ended up having multiple strokes.
yep,
She was in a coma for a few months. When she come round, they'd amputated her right leg. None of her left side worked from the stroke. She was quite brain damaged, so she had one working right arm. Vascular dementia on top of everything else.
yeah,
So she was about 18 months. She was like that, bedbound and in a care home. And then she died. And then my dad, who was 13 years older, he started going downhill
yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
then he had a big fall, ended up in a care home himself, and just kept deteriorating. And then, so my mum died in 2019, and my dad died in 2022.
yeah.
So in between those years, I was also going through the menopause. I lost my job.
Yeah,
So it was like 5 years of hell, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we're quite grateful that they're both not suffering anymore, me and my sister, but we miss them like hell, you know. And
yeah,
it's something I never thought I'd get through. When I was younger, it's like if my mum and dad died, that's the end. I've had
yeah,
enough, you know. But my
yeah,
dog and cat kept me going. My family kept me going, you know. E-cig Cliff
yeah,
was wonderful. Like I'd sit for hours just writing articles, reviewing, and then suddenly, you know, the
yeah,
dawn would come, the sun would be out, and I'd be like, "Wow, I've got through another hard night," you know.
yeah. Yeah, tough. That's tough years. I mean, yeah, mine were bang, 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 one after the other. Dad, then mom, and it was just like. But my mom always said to me, I lived longer than her mom. So both of
Yeah,
my grandparents died at 65. So 65, boom, they were both dead. So my mom got to 83, and my dad got to 84. So like even when she was sick in bed, she's like, I'm good. She goes, I'm good. If I go right now, I'm good. I was like, shut up, mom. Shut up.
I beat the rest.
I beat everybody. That's how I kid with her because we would. I love making pizza and bread and stuff like that. So
Oh
I
yeah,
would. My goal was always to get my mom to say, "Oh my God, this is such good pizza," but she would never do that for me. And when and she knew it was good and it was better than hers, but she just couldn't say it. And so when I was doing
never
her,
be as good as mine. No,
yeah.
not a patch.
So when I was doing her eulogy at the church, I said to her, I said, I looked up and I said, Mom, if God gives you a piece of bread, please tell him that it's the best bread you ever had. Don't argue with
Yeah.
God, please.
Don't go, I can do it better. You've done that wrong.
Don't argue with him, man. Oh, well, Michelle, it was fun doing this. I'm glad you were, like I said, I'm glad you were the first person that I got to do on the show for the first episode of this show. And I'm glad it's
Oh,
back. And anyone else that's out there that is interested, you guys can hit me up on Twitter. I've already got a good list going. So everyone's kind of excited to have this show back on. And like I said, it's an opportunity for everyone to see a little bit different side of everyone and to help hopefully others that are outside of our circle see us as adults and giving
and
us the
humans.
opportunity.
We're all human.
Humans.
We're not just a name on Twitter or.
Yeah, yeah. Unplug yourself, Michelle, because you're a bot. So unplug yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Beep beep malfunction. My battery's low.
yeah, yeah. I want you to go ahead and look in the camera and tell everybody anything that you got going on. Some new interviews on your on your page, or anything that you got going on. Do you want to share with our viewers?
Well, we're currently trying to fight this vape tax legislation. As part of the NNA, this will be something we'll be working towards and fundraising. Um, Usual stuff on AC Click. We've got plenty of reviews of vape gear. I share new stuff coming up. Keep up to date with the news, and we've started showing all events as well. We're event sponsors for quite a few events now, so come on over and check us out. eclick.co.uk.
Yeah, Aaron, the link's in the header of the show, and you guys head on over there. Great interviews Michelle does on there. I did mine with her. I have to finish it and send it to you. I will do it this week. I
We'll
promise. I
get that
promise.
fired up. Yeah, you and Phil.
I'm proud. Yeah,
Philip,
I promise.
sorry, Philip.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know my pain, Michelle. You know my pain because
My
I,
brother-in-law is called Phil. My brother-in-law, so I automatically say Phil. So I'm really sorry, Philip.
yeah, and my brother's name is Phil too. So I have called his name is Philip, but we call him Phil
Yeah,
my whole life.
yeah.
It's like, so
So
I
I'm
mean,
automatically default wired to say Phil.
yeah.
That's the problem.
I'm gonna start calling him Filippo in Italian. I just say Filippo. Just save my ass. Oh my goodness. Well, Michelle, thank you again for doing this. I really, really appreciate it. And we need to get you back on the Wednesday Night Live show too, as well. So when you're ready,
Anytime. Just
yeah,
give me
we'll
a shout.
get that worked out. And yeah, because the vapor events are all heading your way now. We don't have any left here, so they're all in the UK. So it's gonna
Hopefully, I'll
be.
be going. I think it's April, the UK one. So hopefully, I'll be going that and doing some write-ups and taking loads of photos.
Oh yeah. Well, you guys gonna have a booth there?
No,
Is
we
it?
don't usually, but just usually one of us goes and we take loads of photos, meet everybody. I
Yeah,
met Phil and Dimitri
yeah,
twice. I've met them there, and they've been lovely.
yeah.
They're even modelling new products for me, going
Oh
like
yes, I guess yes. Yeah. No, they are fun to meet in person.
they
That's
were
too.
lovely.
Maybe you guys set up something out there. It'd be very cool to give people an opportunity to sit down and you interview some of the people that are out there.
Yeah, that would be a good point, wouldn't it? Yeah, and
Yeah,
just ask them. I mean, to me, I'd like to know everybody's opinions on the new legislation and how they feel we're being
right.
treated as vapers. Because at the moment, we all feel like we're being punished. So,
Yeah,
from a country that's been very pro vaping, we've gone quite anti at the moment. And I want people to tell their story and what will happen if if they can't afford e-liquid, or if the flavors they want aren't available. I want them to tell them that I'll be going to the
yeah,
black market, or I'll have to start smoking again.
yeah. They get mad at the black market, but they don't realize they created it. That's the thing that blows me away. Yeah, there's a black market, but there wouldn't be a black market there if you would just let us do what we need to do. And
Well, we've
that's it.
already
Let
got one
adults.
before the disposables were banned. We'd already got
Yeah,
quite a bustling black market because I've seen the vapes lying around because we have a lot of restrictions on our vapes, and
yeah,
these are all contravening those restrictions. And when they ban them, these disposables, we don't know
yeah,
what's going to come over, what sort of
yeah,
e-liquids they're going to have
yeah.
in them, what the electrics are going to be
Well,
like. They're going
yeah,
to be awful.
they can say 3,000 puffs, but you might get 200. Who you're gonna bitch at?
Yeah, and also, what chemicals have they
Yeah,
got in them? They're
chemicals.
going to blow your face off with the electrics. There's no
Yep.
regulation.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. All right, Michelle. Thank you again. Thank you, everybody in chat, for joining us. And I will
Thank you.
have a post for next guest. I'll have it up there. Give me time. Beginning and thank you, Michelle. And we'll see everybody next Wednesday and then Thursday for In the Vapor. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for
Wait.
all the lovely comments.
Yes. Yes.